your journey might not look like everybody else's. It might take you a little bit longer. But at the end of the day, for me, it's been brick by brick. It's been about longevity. You know, I don't want to be a flash in the pan. I'm going to be here to stay. So.
Lainey Wilson, welcome to Smooth Country.
I am glad to be here.
And it's good to see you.
It is good to see you.
Last time we spoke, this was through a computer screen and all that. And now you're here in the UK.
In real life.
You've been here a few times now, but it's good to be back.
It is so good to be back. This is my fourth time. It's been way too long. It's been since 2019, but we are here and we are ready to hug everybody's necks and see. It's good to be back.
It really is, isn't it? After all that stuff,
it is.
You've had an amazingly successful time as well, haven't you? I mean, this is your career's just been flying, and you know the accolades keep coming. I know you're getting more and more nominations. You've just won a stack of awards. The album's well received. Do you ever? I mean, obviously it's well deserved, but do you ever pinch yourself as well because you've worked a long time to get here?
For sure. Yeah, I've been in Nashville for 12 years, and I feel like we're just getting started, and that's the crazy part. You know, I look around and I see all these incredible things happening and huge stepping stones, but I feel like we got somewhere to be. I look up and I acknowledge how far we really have come, and I'm so grateful. It's all the blood, sweat, and tears is finally starting to pay off.
Well, I wanted to talk about that at some point if we get an opportunity. I mean, you are the classic story of starting from, from ground zero, if you like, the small town, your dad a farmer.
Yeah.
You know, the last place possibly most people in that community expected was like this international star all of a sudden. So you've gone from that to that. So that's just amazing, isn't it?
It is. It's really crazy. I'm from a town of 200 people, a little town called Baskin in northeast Louisiana, and not many people leave, but I decided to. My community is so supportive. I mean, they were my cheerleaders and believers before anybody ever believed in my music. They thought I could do it. You know, they still treat me like the same old me. They keep me real humble. But I love where I'm from, and I'm very proud to be where I'm from. I don't feel like I'd be able to write the kind of music if I wasn't from Baskin.
It's kind of like the authentic, isn't it, really? That's, you're doing it and living it and stuff.
That's it.
So are you, because a singer-songwriter, do you write all the time, or do you have a set time you do it, or even on the road, or how does it work for you?
I will say right now we have been traveling so much. I mean, last year I didn't get very many nights in Nashville, just running the roads up and down, going everywhere, touring. Same thing this year, so I'm not getting to write as much as I did during the pandemic. I wrote 300 plus songs.
Wow.
I would wrote every single day just because that was, quite frankly, the only thing that got me through it. Thank God that I had that during that time. I feel like everybody kind of had something during that time that they went to, for that help, and that was mine. So I feel like right now my focus is touring. We're on my very first headlining tour. We sold the whole thing out, but I'm starting to kind of weave in some of that songwriting again because I tell you what, I've missed it. And, just trying to kind of shift my focuses and just keep hitting the road.
So C2C, last time you were here, and you're further up the bill now. I want to know, though, from an artist's point of view, when you're, like you say, you're doing your own headlining tour, and this time around you're part of a festival, so you've got to mix in with all the others. What's the different vibe? And obviously your set's going to be, I guess, shorter than if you've got the whole night, right? For
sure, yeah. I mean, when you're headlining a show, you're going to be playing an hour and a half. So I've been getting my exercise. I've been running up and down the stages. So yeah, it'll be fun to be able to kind of get back into the groove of opening and being able to enjoy my friend's show after I get to do mine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the cool part to me is when I get to sit side stage and watch and learn and grow from, watching Thomas Rhett. I think he is incredible, and I'm so glad to be doing a show with him. This is my first show ever with him.
Oh, right.
And known him for quite some time, so yeah, we had to come all the way over here to do it, but we're doing it, dang it.
Isn't that ironic? You know, you guys in Nashville and it's all going on, and then you come here and you're all mixing in.
Yeah.
And do you mix in? I mean, behind the scenes, do you get an opportunity like after your slot? Yeah.
I hope so. You know, it does seem like every time, we're over here, we're always running back and forth, trying to see as many people as we possibly can. But even if we don't get to spend a lot of time together, we'll high-five each other in the hallway, and that right there is enough.
Yeah, well, listen, it's just a bit of a treat for us as well because clearly, we don't get to experience so much. If you go to Nashville, it's going on, 24/7, right?
Yep.
But this is like a real treat weekend where everybody comes our way for a change.
I know. It's like country music Christmas. Country done come to town. Here we are.
I think we'll copyright that country music Christmas
That's
for
it.
the weekend.
That's it.
And the UK fans as well. Do you ever get like a different vibe from them? Is there a different?
I do, and I heard for years before we came over here that it was a different vibe, and what I mean by that is just the way that they listen. And I don't mean any disrespect towards the States, but there's a lot of times where they're there to get rowdy and drink a beer, and of course people want to do that over here too and have a good time, but I take a lot of pride in my songwriting because
Sure.
I was a songwriter before I was an artist. And so it really means a lot to me when I see that people have dove into the lyrics and really figured out why I wrote what I did and why I put a song in a certain place on a record. That's what I used to love to do as a child, and I love that kind of country music. And so I love that y'all like that kind of country music too. That means a lot to us.
And when you said earlier, you write 300 songs you've written in a set period of time. Is it difficult narrowing that down? I mean, how do you decide which one goes on what album or what project? Or that must be tricky, is it? If you've got too many almost.
I feel like, not all 300 are good. I'll tell you that. Sometimes you got to write the bad ones in order to get to the good ones.
Yeah.
And I definitely, there's times where I'm writing a song and I'm like, okay, well, I know that this one will probably never see the light of day, but I got to write it anyway. I got to get it off my chest. Put it up on a shelf, and that's all right. Maybe one day it will find a home, and it might be, I might be in a different place in my life one day when I need some more songs. But I feel like for the most part, me and my team are always on the same page about which songs are the most me.
Yeah.
And I feel like those are the ones that connect the best, and those are the ones that people latch onto the most anyway. Even though I'm writing it from a very personal place, it's crazy how people can find ownership in certain little things and be like, man, that song was written for me.
Right. Okay. And they really do, don't they? Especially, we've been in the audiences and we see the fans and they're literally living, they're mouthing the words, to you.
It's pretty powerful.
That must be just so brilliant, though, is it? I mean, you've created this and they're giving it back to you.
It's like an energy exchange, People tell me all the time, they're like, you've saved my life with my music. I'm like, no, y'all are saving mine. But it's like, when they're singing it back to me, it's almost like a healing thing for me, and it's just like it's just this constant exchange. So they fill my cup.
And what about when you work with other artists like Hardy and the collaborations? Do you get a completely different energy from that?
I do. And I feed off of their energy as well. I feel like I do that a lot. Whether it's just interviews, you got a great energy. I feed off of that.
Okay.
So whoever I'm working with at that moment, But yeah, I feel like when I'm working with Hardy, my rough side can come out just like his. And I really enjoyed working with Cole Swindell too. I feel like all those guys have kind of pulled out a different side of me, which is cool to find.
Yeah, it just exposes maybe other possibilities.
Yep.
As well. I've got to ask you, because it's quite an obvious next question.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else that's like in the pipeline to work with or you'd love to work with?
Oh, my goodness. I'm all about collaborating, truly.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. Why not share fans and why not come together and especially when, I don't know, when you look at guys like Hardy and you look at people like Cole, I feel like, they kind of took me under their wing and said, hey, I love this person. I believe in her and I really like her music. Maybe you should check it out. And I'm so excited to be able to do that for people too, because that's a big thing, helping each other over this country music wall. It's hard. And, it's cool to be able to kind of feel like I'm in a position now to where I can do that. So I got a lot of people I want to work with. I've 2 people who are actually on the road with me right now, Meg McCree and Ben Chapman, are 2 incredible artists. I know at some point in time we will do something together. I just think they're incredible songwriters and just people in general. Of course, I'd love to do something with Eric Church, Dolly Parton, Brothers Osborne, Chris Stapleton, Ashley McBride, the list goes on and on. The folks who I feel like go against the grain and they're not trying to be like anybody else. They're just being them.
Well, there's a collaboration album just there.
Right
You gave
there.
it to us right there. I'm going to ask you as well about acting.
Yeah.
Appeared in Yellowstone. How did that feel for you? Because completely different,
It was fun. It was an experience. I mean, this was my first rodeo. I kind of laugh and joke and say that I got a little taste of acting 8th grade through 12th grade when I was impersonating Hannah Montana. But I really wasn't acting like her. I was, I had the wig. I sang all 15 karaoke songs. But yeah, I mean, I dove in head first. This was an opportunity for me to share my music with the world and could not say no to that.
Yeah, well, when these opportunities come along, one of the things when I knew I was going to be talking to you, and one of the things I was really keen to get from the horse's mouth, so to speak, is how you worked so hard. I mean, you really did when you got to town first, and you were living in a trailer, and you were almost getting a handout from a guy in a recording studio, right? And so anybody who wants to be that next, that next star, that next leg up in the industry, you're an embodiment of that, aren't you? You did it.
I'll take that. I'll take it. And I'll tell you, there's definitely a lot of times where I'm like, golly, why are things not moving a little bit faster? But looking back on it now, I'm glad that time has kind of become a part of my story. Because to me, it kind of shows some folks, who really do want it. Your journey might not look like everybody else's. It might take you a little bit longer. But at the end of the day, for me, it's been brick by brick. It's been about longevity. I don't want to be a flash in the pan. I'm gonna be here to stay. So
I don't think there's any fear of that personally, from what I'm seeing from the outside. I also wanted to mention as well, it was funny that we get a lot of people in here, and people talk about different influences, and when you mentioned just a moment or two ago the people that you want to work with, it's great that a lot of the people who come here talk about the reaction they get in the UK, and it's just you're performing the same songs, but it's just a different thing, isn't it?
It's different. I mean, we talk about that all the time when we're back at home. Me and my artist friends who have had the opportunity to come over here, it's just different. The first time I played was 2018 Country Music Week, Bush Hall with Jimmy Allen and Chase Rice, and I had just put out a self-titled EP. I don't even think my family knew the words to the songs I'd put out yet. And when I tell you that first chord that I strummed, you could hear a pin drop in the building and people were singing it back to me. To me, that was honestly one of the first feelings of, wow, all right, they're just ahead of everybody. And I will never forget that. So as long as I live, as long as y'all keep inviting me to come over here, I will be here.
Well, that's also encouraging. I heard a bit of a story as well that you're so busy. You're on this roller coaster now with the awards and with the music flying, that you didn't have time. You felt like to treat yourself, to almost take a moment for you.
Yeah.
And you said you were driving this old car you had from back in the day, and you felt like you wanted to treat yourself. Did you actually get around to doing that yet, or? Have you upgraded?
I have upgraded. I got me a Ram truck.
Oh, wow.
And I am looking good driving up and down the road. Not in Nashville very much to drive the truck, but when I am driving it, it looks good.
Well, it made me smile because you said that there was, I think, a leak in the old car. And
stuff. Yeah.
You're thinking you're picking up these awards, you're on the red carpet, you're getting all these accolades, you're still in this old thing that, from way back in the day.
No, it took me a while to kind of let that little vehicle go. It was old trusty, I guess you could say, but yeah, I finally treated myself, and I'm starting to kind of enjoy the finer things in life.
Yeah.
It's nice. I'm like, here we are, I'm not completely broke now, so I'm going to get me a new set of wheels, and then I'll probably drive it till the wheels fall off of it, too.
Yeah, but we'll see. Well, maybe when you're back over in a few years, we'll ask you about that, if you upgraded again or bought another house or...
I wonder.
Or done whatever. It's been an absolute pleasure. We're going to see you perform over the weekend. Yep. Really excited about that.
I'm pumped.
And continued success.
I appreciate y'all, and y'all's support means a lot.
You're welcome.
Just great country.
Smooth country.